They say when your heart shatters, you hear a strange kind of silence. I didn't. What I heard was the air conditioner humming above the doorway, the faint click of the elevator echoing down the hallway, and her breath shaky and sharp like she'd swallow glass. There was no dramatic collapse, no thunder or symphony of heartbreak, just the quiet, ordinary noises of a world indifferent to your pain. And I watched him touch her, not with affection, not with desire. It was the kind of touch that claimed ownership, lazy, confident, like a man lay his hand on something he already believed was his. His fingers slid beneath the hem of her skirt, too practiced, too familiar. Then he looked at me, tilted his head with a smirk, and tossed the words out like a punchline. Leave. She's mine now. Unless you want to settle this, man to man. There was a pause. 1 beat. Maybe 2. I smiled, not out of amusement, but because everything suddenly made sense. That was it. The final blow. A hand under her clothes. A threat disguised as a joke. That was all it took to crack open something I'd buried too long. 10 minutes later, he couldn't walk, couldn't stand, couldn't even speak. I didn't yell, didn't curse, didn't breathe hard. I just took him apart, slowly, methodically, like someone disassembling a delicate old timepiece. I knew exactly what I was doing. The tibia snaps with a wet, muted crunch. The jaw, easier than you'd think, if you pivot your heel right. Ribs, tricky, but not impossible. I figured it out. It wasn't rage. It was calculation. He never saw it coming. Men like him never do. They mistake silence for weakness. They don't notice how we watch, how we wait. And the worst part? It wasn't the bruises I left on him. Not the blood. Not even the silence that followed. The worst part came days before. In glances exchanged when they thought I wasn't looking. In whispered tones behind walls that used to echo laughter. In the kitchen, she turned the mug handle away from me. A small, silent rejection. Her phone lit up at night. She wouldn't answer. Just stare at the screen like it was a window to somewhere else. She met him 6 months before. I overheard her telling her sister. Called him Alpha. Not to me. To her. I was half asleep in the hallway when I heard it. Alpha. Like he was some kind of prize dog. And I guess to her, that's what it was. Power. His was loud. Shiny suits. Overpriced cologne that reeked of midlife panic. Mine? Mine was built in silence. Crafted in solitude. Carved in basements. Between battered knuckles and unread books. His kind walks into a room, expecting to be seen. Mine waits in the corners. I saw the small betrayals first. An unfamiliar earring left in our bathroom, his cologne clinging to a towel meant for guests. One day, I found a single wine glass tucked behind the record shelf, lipstick stained. Not hers. She didn't lie. She just left things out, which, in its own way, is worse. A lie gives you something to push back against. Omission only gives you silence. Then came the text, sent from her phone. His words. Maybe he was drunk. Maybe just cocky. Probably both. You don't satisfy her anymore. Walk away before I make you. I read it 3 times. Not because I didn't get it, but because I couldn't believe someone could be that predictably cruel. After that, things moved fast. She said she was working late. I followed her. Wexler Hotel. Room 8004. It was raining, but the rain didn't feel cold. Just unnecessary. I knocked. He opened the door. Shirt undone. Belt halfway off. Drink in hand. He looked at me like I was room service bringing disappointment. She was perched on the bed's edge. Eyes wide. Mouth slightly open, like she wanted to speak, but forgot the language. Then he touched her. Then he smiled. And that's when I realized there's a silence after violence that isn't peace. It's absence. Absence of fear. Of pretending. Of humanity. When I left, he was twisted on the floor, a mangled silhouette of arrogance. I looked at her. She didn't cry, didn't shout, just stared, like she didn't recognize the man in front of her anymore. I walked out. He survived, but barely. Wired jaw, cast on both legs. Something slipped in his spine. Doctors said he wouldn't run again, wouldn't lift more than a grocery bag. His voice? A permanent rasp, like he's always halfway through an apology. She tried to reach me once, left a note in the mailbox. I burned it, never opened it, not because I hate her. I don't, but because some stories end where they're supposed to. And sometimes, the only way to survive betrayal is to let the silence tell the rest. What I've learned is this. People mistake patience for passivity. But still waters? They're not weak. They're just waiting for the right moment to drown you. I'm not proud of what I did, but I'm not sorry either. Some lines you just don't cross. And if you do, you better hope the man on the other side isn't me.